What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Carbonite Bounty BS with me and the nerds here, talking all things Book of Boba Fett as we're on the back end here of the last two episodes. So it's been bittersweet already, guys, but before we even get started in what was super cool, let's let our guy DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com, people. Make sure that you guys are going to our site and you're getting all your favorite platforms and commenting on them and sending us some social media stuff on Twitter, Facebook, and also on Instagram. Make sure that if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. So make sure that you are doing that. If you are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. Also, make sure that you are following us all on the our Carbonite Bounty BS Facebook group. We are on there with your favorite memes and all your favorite other stuff, doing all that sorts of good stuff. And make sure that you are I'm like all over the place tonight. Nerds at nerdcyclopedia.com, people. Leave us some feedback. This episode, is so much feedback. Crazy.
Right.
Super
Got his mind. This episode has his mind blown. Obviously, everyone. But that's a good thing, we go in every week and we're excited, and we talked about last week. I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm just speechless. I don't know what to say. It was just everything I asked for in a Star Wars story. Not necessarily Boba Fett, but in a Star Wars story. I couldn't imagine what I seen over 40 minutes. Like I'm really speechless. So I'll let you guys take the floor because I still can't get myself together on really what I witnessed and what I witnessed a few times. It's utterly mind blowing.
Yeah, I was. So this is not just this isn't the Book of Boba Fett anymore. This is like a Star Wars movie. I mean, it is. They're capturing the feeling and the emotion and everything from just what the story was. It wasn't these little pieces. It was just one big long story, and great episode from beginning to end. I at the end of it, I watched it this morning. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen on television ever. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. I mean, we got R2, Luke, who looks great for his age. Jeez. We had lightsabers, and how about those little construction droids?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to call Home Depot and curbside 2 of them at least. I got the feeling that these are things that were built from the remains of the Federation. Like, weren't they all? They were battle droid parts in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The claws and their bodies were the the torso pieces. I mean, they were using. So the set designers were using stuff we already knew, we already saw, and they're bringing it back and they're making it new again. And darn it, where's Clint Eastwood in this whole thing? Like, come on, we've got high noon gunfights. This just great, just a great episode. I mean, I think I'm going to watch it again after we're done with this because the remote, the training. How about that? Like Grogu and Grogu. So we had Grogu too.
Yeah, just a little.
It's just too much. Yeah, I don't even know. We had one-eyed frogs coming out of the ground, and there was all back with Dagobah training and Yoda, and he speaks in riddles. And I mean, they just put it all together and made it. They really knocked it out of the park on this one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steel City?
Yo, this episode was incredible, just like you guys are saying, for so many reasons. It's not just the cameos of the incredible characters from the Clone Wars that have never been in live action that are in this episode. It's not just that we get to see Grogu training as a Jedi. It's not just that we get to see Master Luke Skywalker and some ballsy ass effect shots where they just said, "We dare you to find the flaw. We dare you." I mean, some incredible shots that really, like, I mean, I've been wowed by effects before on Star Wars stuff, right? I have. It's one of the things about Star Wars, but this is really just an amazing effect that they've accomplished making Luke Skywalker circa 1988 or something like that. Making Mark Hamill 1988 exist is just such an incredible technical achievement. It flabbergasts me every time I see it, and that was not, the coolest, maybe even the coolest part of this episode. That's maybe not even the coolest three things in the episode, in my opinion, right? Wow, just so many awesome events. And let's say this, that memory of Grogu's from the Jedi Temple, those clone troopers looked better than any clone trooper I've ever seen. They were menacing. They looked real. They looked like they had wear and tear, like they had interacted with the environment. They were ruthless and they were effective. And that's not something we usually get out of, say, the stormtroopers or, the regular stock, disposable villain that we get, in Star Wars. Wow. Just so many incredible moments. I mean, Luke having Grogu in the backpack really got to me, I think. Man, just a really great episode of Star Wars television. And if this is where they're going, whew, we're in for quite a treat over the next couple of years as they watch as the Dave Filoni Star Wars universe, inflates itself and becomes what it'll be.
Yeah.
What about you, DP?
Oh man. It's like, what had I just seen? I mean, Dave Filoni, and when at the end there where it says directed by Dave Filoni, I'm like, I mean, what more can you really ask? When the guy puts his hands on stuff, he puts his hands on stuff, and I don't know if you want to call it like, fan service and everything, but he was definitely servicing some fans, Again, we get another episode with like little Boba Fett and everything. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I call it universal storytelling.
It was 54 seconds.
Yep, 54 seconds with no dialogue. Okay,
yep, 54 seconds, no dialogue. Yep, just so you know.
I call it universal storytelling in a way that you have an expansive universe already out there, but you have to give elements in people's shows and stuff. So we're not dealing with like the traditional way of storytelling here, with like episodes and characters weaving in and out. Sometimes you don't really expect another character from another show to come and take over someone else's show, but this is a different way of telling a whole expansive universe. Of different characters and people, even to the degree of when Luke, showed up, it pretty much became his show, him and Grogu's show. It was a curious, it was an exciting way to tell this universe. Of course, I got super excited when Ahsoka showed up. I mean, yeah, you already have me there whenever she shows up on screen. Did not expect her to see her at all until next year. 2023 when her show comes out. So it was a pleasure to see her. All in all, I mean, there's so much stuff that we're going to talk about, but I found that it was an excellent Star Wars episode.
I agree with you guys. I mean, and you saw, as you said, DP, the sprinklings there of kind of like that, Filoni, that Favreau, that like, you can call it almost that Marvel aspect of us sprinkling in the characters, assembling that roster, as we always talk about, right? So I really did enjoy that. I didn't expect to see all those people. When I saw R2, I was like, man, you can't do this. Like, and this is, the intro of the episodes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So they had me there. Interesting. We'll talk about this. The temple they built there is not the same temple that obviously Kylo Ren trained at. So leads you to believe that there are other Jedi. Or if there are other Jedi, then as we discussed, this is course correction based on the events of 7, 8, 9. So really like that and how we've seen that. I will say this, and this is my only part that I was frustrated, and this is specifically to you, Mr. Filoni. How dare you play with me like that on that temple scene where you show Grogu getting saved and you do not show Mace Windu with one arm picking him up. I was like literally biting my nails to see like after all these Jedi fall and they're about to grab him, Mace Windu just hack him down real quick. Like
you realize there is a Mandalorian season 3 coming.
well, it's a flash forward though. But I mean, like I just needed that. I thought it was going to be there. That. Like it was like right there. Like I was like, oh my god, it's him. And then like it was done, and I was like, what a tease, but pleasant nonetheless. So the emotion. It was an emotional roller coaster for me, just like Hitch. To see Luke. the ending as far as, choose your fate is almost like that cold video game vibe that you have. In the parallels, as Ahsoka said, you're like your father. Well, if he's like his father, then, and we'll get into discussion points, he takes the armor and the lightsaber. You don't make a choice. There is no choice. So maybe this is the beginnings of, they call him a foundling of the next Mandalorian Jedi. So very interesting, but we'll get in those aspects here and we'll open up the floor for discussion, guys. There's literally so much to talk about, so many cool elements. So, who wants to open it up as far as where we start?
Oh man. So the CGI on Luke is so much better. I mean, it was great on the season finale of of Mandalorian and everything, but you could tell that they really they spent some money, concentrated, and did whatever they needed to do to make sure that we bought and wasn't taken out of the story with Mark Hamill in there, and whoever played him as far as like his double or whatever, with them. It was great. It was a fun, and made me think of what Hitch was, Steel City was talking about, maybe a Luke possible TV show.
Oh, I told you it's coming. It's coming.
It's
at some point.
something, or him to fit in some sort of narrative, at some point, and they could go back in the past and just do this. I love the fact that him and Ahsoka, was able to be in the same scenes and talk to each other. I wanted more of that, actually.
Mm-hmm. And how about when she said, "A lot like your father"?
Right.
I mean, it was so, and it was so much better. This Luke Skywalker, the animation, the CG, whatever they're doing now. I just watched Rogue One, and Tarkin was pretty good, but this Luke is much better.
And to be frank with it, this isn't Lucasfilms actually work. I don't know the person, and I do apologize if you're watching it, which I doubt. But it was a YouTuber who did deepfake movies who they hired on, who's doing this production as far as the CGI Luke. So whoever you are, I apologize. I'm sorry, but shout out on your work, man, because this effect you're doing, this is crazy. This opens up the world to so much more, and not only in Star Wars but in stories.
Pretty much. If you want to do flashbacks in movies now, and you're worried about the way the character looks in the flashback, you can essentially get the technology and spend it, on what they just did here. It's going to be a lot of think pieces. There's already think pieces today regarding this episode, but it's going to be a lot of think pieces coming out about what they're doing with the CGI and everything regarding with the way he looks and how he moves.
Yeah, it was even the hand movement. When he did the obligatory raising multiple items at the same time, like Yoda did, like raising the ship out of the water. It was a little bit sketchy. Like as the hand moved, I could see it was kind of not, I don't know, it didn't look quite right. But then, I mean, that whole scene was that was probably the most important callback to me when Luke was just showing Grogu, just you can do one frog, but how about 20? And how about we just manipulate them how we want? I mean, that was a really great scene, really emotional, really powerful. I started getting first time I saw it, I was like, I got actually teared up because it was so real. And that Luke looked literally like maybe 2 weeks after Return of the Jedi. I mean, I know there's a little more time, but just the weathering on the face and the haircut, and who does that guy's hair anyway? I mean, he's so perfect, right? I mean,
just the way. I'm sort of interested. I mean, I see now why you guys are excited about Luke, because you're sort of interested to see this is a fully formed Luke right after he's going through all his trials and tribulations with Darth Vader and everything. We never really got to see that in the live action type of setting. So here we are, we get like this bits of Luke. So now you're even more curious, about his adventures and how's he. Just how is a fully formed Jedi of him, how's that looking?
Yeah, and he was he was the last one. I mean, at the time he was the last one, and he's the most powerful. He comes from a strong family, and he was trained very well, and he's got an innate ability to control the Force. It's not just, like he said, Grogu is remembering more than I'm teaching him. So Luke had more built into him to begin with when Obi-Wan started training him. So we're slightly like you said, DP, we're seeing like this fully trained and activated Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, but we never saw it. We never saw what happened to Luke. We saw it in comic books, but not all of us read them, So right. This is a really great opportunity for us to kind of get that piece filled in. Bring it on, whatever they want to do. I don't even care. They could call the next episode blah blah blah. I'll watch it. I don't even know what season it is. Who cares? Just watch it.
I really feel like a mark for this. This feels like the first time, like in my entire career of going to the movies and watching TV, where I'm just like stunned by an effect. Right? I want to believe that it's real. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like a pastiche or whatever. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm sure in 10 years we'll look back on this and be like, well, it's pretty good. It's good for its time.
Right, yeah.
But it very much gives you the feeling like, those stories how they say that, when they used to show a film of a train coming out at the screen, like right when they first started doing cinema, people would dive out of the way, because they saw it coming. So it's one of those really cool things, and it's a great marriage of like nostalgia and a very, very, very competent technical effect and good storytelling, because they're showing us Luke Skywalker assuming that mentorship relationship, right? Which is something we've seen in the sequel. So we've seen what Luke is like as a teacher after he fails at being a teacher. And we see Grogu here, as a student. But my wife actually pointed out an interesting point, which is, if he's wearing that Beskar armor, Ben Solo won't be able to get him when he decides to scourge the Jedi Temple.
Right.
So he could live forever.
Yeah, but that isn't even the same temple if you see in the movie. I mean, the temple has so it opens up, like I said, the possibilities of so much, which was like, the episode was just mind-boggling. I mean, you see Cad Bane show up and his costume is like sick, like that.
Totally. At first I thought,
is that teeth? I'm like,
his teeth, everything. His eyes glowed. I mean, it was.
Yeah, they brought Corey Burton back, to do the voice and everything. I mean, why not? I mean, you got to maintain that sense of continuity and stuff. I love continuity. I love like crossover stuff. Yeah. I love, calling back. Calling back to me is like one of the great essential, elements of storytelling, and it pays off because it pays off the viewer of when you're watching a show or movie or just like, content and everything, when you spent that much time and invest that much time into, that thing that you love, that they pay it off, of course you're going to have like, people coming on and casuals coming on and, jumping on board and asking questions on, well, why did he or she say that, or why did he do that or whatever. But that's why you got like the history and stuff. I mean, it's not like things happen in history and things happen today and we say, okay, well, that happened before. So we have the responsibility, either we go forward on, without even trying to, actualize our history, or we, go back and try to research to try to get a little bit more knowledge of that history and stuff. So that's why I feel about like the way they do this storytelling. Like I say, universal storytelling is what Star Wars is doing right now, what Marvel's doing right now. You got some critics already complaining about the fact that not enough Boba. It's called Boba Fett show. It's called the Book of Boba Fett. So where's Boba?
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
So that's episode 8.
Them and everything, this is not the way that you tell a story. They almost like they don't really care about their central character and everything. So why are they even telling this type of show? I mean, why are they telling this type of story? So what's wrong with them? It's so disappointing. Star Wars losing their way, trying to link back to the Skywalkers and stuff. I thought we were getting rid of the Skywalkers. Now we're bringing them back and everything. So what's going on with that?
You can't get rid of the Skywalkers. That's the point. The point of the reason that it even exists is because of the Skywalker family.
You can't get rid of the Skywalkers when Episode 9 ended with the girl calling herself a Skywalker.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, come on. What are you doing? It's just watch it, enjoy it.
People find a way. People find a way to complain about something and nitpick.
Well,
here's
everything's hooking up. Everything's connecting.
Here's what's so interesting about this show, right? It's like, it's almost like Star Wars, I say big Star Wars. Like it's like Disney's like, do you want to see how Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit? Or do you want to see Luke Skywalker train Grogu as a Jedi? And everyone's just like smacking the button for that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right?
We want to see that. And it's so funny how it's like, the meta context of this show where it is, as it's, we're at that crossroads, right? I've been saying it and saying it and saying it, where now the most important stuff about Star Wars in the next 5 years is all in those cartoons that we just spent the last year watching. Whether it's Cad Bane, whether it's Ahsoka, the most important stuff is coming out of those cartoons, and it's a real sea change. And look, the face-off couldn't be clearer. It could not be clearer here. Would you rather spend time with Boba Fett, or would you rather spend time with these other stories that we're telling? And the fact of the matter is, we are excited because all the interesting new things are in the other stories. I mean, if Boba Fett's getting out of the Sarlacc pit, we know he's getting out. He's got a gappy stick. Guess what? He probably hooked up with the Sand People at some point. He has a ship. We know he gets a ship back. So, it's nice to see those, the backstory getting filled out. And I'm definitely glad to see a lot more of Boba, the person, and Tamora Morrison, the actor, playing that character. I think that has all been very, very good. But if you ask me where the juice is in Star Wars, I'm going to tell you it's whatever's happening with that story next. And by that story, I mean Luke and Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the choice that he has to make, right? Does he want the armor or the lightsaber? So I think he's going to choose the lightsaber, obviously.
I hope
so. No person will tell you that's a false dichotomy.
and he's gonna choose the lightsaber, but he's gonna get the armor once he's reached a certain level of training. And before I forget, I want to call out Luke's mention of your life, your time passes. How do you word it?
What's a very short time for you is a lifetime for others.
It's the first time in this Star Wars universe that anyone mentioned the fact that these species that we're all getting, introduced to have different lifespans.
Yeah.
And this whole galaxy, this whole universe of life is a long time ago, galaxy far, far away. It's the first time that anyone's actually called out the fact that, Yoda was 900 years old. He's seen a lot, but the people around him, it was just a blink. Like their life was just gone in the same span that his. I mean, I just felt that it was interesting. That was the first time that was actually mentioned.
Yeah.
In the whole story ever, from the Lucas age to the the Filoni age. It's the first time that anyone ever called that out. I thought that was interesting, just to give sort of breadth to how expansive the story is and how long it can continue for, and why we should have all these little changes. This is okay. We can see all these stories happening at the same time. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little disappointed that they gave Grogu Yoda's lightsaber. I would have liked to seen him build his own. I mean, obviously that will be the cash grab for our Galaxy's Edge and Disney World fans.
No,
that'll be the next legacy lightsaber on sale.
They're gonna wait just long enough for my daughter to be right in the sweet spot and put that stuff out. And I'm gonna.
That legacy lightsaber will be the next one. They'll probably release that on Star Wars Day, but that'll be the next lightsaber for sale. Will be Yoda's. But DP, I think you're getting your wish, man. I was watching this episode, and when Cad Bane came out, as you know, he's a very, very, very fond enemy of one Fennec Shand, a young one from the Clone Wars, specifically the Bad Batch. So if Fennec Shand is in it from the Bad Batch, Cad Bane's in it from the Bad Batch. We might not get all of them, but we may see a few, I think, members before this is all said and done. It only makes sense. It only makes sense. It all adds up.
I was shocked to see Grogu. I'm not gonna lie. Even though it was pretty much teased that he needed to see, he needed to go see his little friend like last episode. I'm like, okay, why would Grogu even show up in this show? But nevertheless, he's
So
right there.
you knew that was happening, right? So
Yeah.
he was going to go find his little friend. Who else was going to be with him? Luke?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So you knew that already.
If he's on there,
someone's trying to frame some discussion.
If someone had said to you, "Hey, Luke Skywalker is in this episode," and you hadn't watched it yet, you'd be like, "Yeah, I know that. You're a dummy. I know that."
A good salesman will also tell you that low expectations is the best friend of a salesman.
Low expectations. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised to see, Grogu. I mean, it just further takes you back into like how great the Mandalorian is and everything. I'm like I said, I'm just happy to see this universal storytelling just playing itself out, and we seeing like just different elements and stuff. I was shocked to see Ahsoka there. Didn't see any reason for her to be there, but it makes sense why she was there at that point in time. I'm curious to see based on what we see at the end of Rebels and
you know why she's there. I mean, it's just like you said. She's trying to touch point with everybody because you remember, as the Force, you can sense others. More than likely, she's probably talking to Luke to see if they can sense Ezra because she's still looking for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
She's the hinge pin between all these different storylines between Clone Wars, Rebels, Rogue One, and this new like Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett, Grogu. She's the common denominator.
Yeah.
Between all these, so it makes sense that she's there because she ties everything together.
Yeah.
Plus,
I was just happy because this is just tying like that circle, a circle of Luke, Ahsoka, and Anakin, all together and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish that we got a little bit more out of dialogue out of those two, Luke and Ahsoka, considering how close she was to Anakin. You would expect her to just really just be staring at Luke.
He tried to get information from her. He was like, "Am I going to see you again?"
Yeah,
like really emotional. Like, "Am I going to see you again?" And she was like, "Maybe." And then, may the Force be with you.
She's a whole lot wiser than she used to. Than she was before and everything. So we've seen her like a fully adult version of Ahsoka. Wise in her years and everything. Man, we get Cobb Vanth at the beginning, doing the spice, taking the spices and everything, and him kicking it over.
Yeah. I love that scene. That's such a great Western scene. It's like, hey, you can just get out of here if you want, and it's like, nope. Man, that's always a bad decision in the beginning of a Western to start bad talking the lone guy. For some reason, that always turns out bad.
I don't think they ever seen Justified before, but
Raylan doesn't play.
they should have known what was coming. He's channeling his Raylan Gibbons. But seeing him was pretty cool. I mean, just tying those Mandalorian things, up in and seeing how that fits into this universe was just a pleasure to see. And thus we did get like him going back to Boba's lair and everything, and them planning the whole war and all that stuff. I wish next week's episode was like 2 hours because I would love to see a big battle. I'm expecting like a big battle with the Black.
These Pikes, right? They don't seem that fighty. Like, I mean, they're pretty much getting taken down. They're basically minimalist terrorists. So at the end, we got they left the bomb in the bar. So they're like just terrorists. They're very weak. They're very weak. I mean, that to me, terrorists seem to me weak because they don't actually come out and fight. They kind of are in the backside. They're just like, they're sneaky. Sneaky, which doesn't really promote strength. So I don't know what they have. I mean, they've got Cad Bane, who obviously has some bank in it, right? He's not a kind of person that's just going to like.
Well, remember,
unless he's getting paid.
He's the most expensive and the most elusive bounty hunter left.
I'll bet he is. I'll bet he
Yeah.
is. I bet he's taken like 48% of everything.
Of everything.
Yeah.
Of everything.
That
Everything.
guy
being-
survived the Empire, man.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that ever since I saw it. It's like, oh well, Palpatine couldn't get that guy.
And he said that. And they said when he said that Boba Fett was a bloodthirsty murderer, whatever he said, hired by the Empire. I mean, just the way he said those words speaks volumes to how the hate and disdain built up in this guy. I mean, I felt like for a bad guy, he's like coming in pretty hot. I mean, he was like coming in like boom, 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 boom. I'm just gonna like take y'all out. So
Yeah.
I would have liked a little better, a little bit of better like dialogue between him and the Marshal. You know,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
some conversation.
He couldn't talk, man. You got Cuz in the corner over here, like,
Yeah,
like, come on, bro.
he had Yosemite Sam up on there, like he was like,
Like, that's the one time in the movie where you want us to be like, dude, shut up. Like, he kept talking, and I'm like, oh my god.
because you knew he was like Steel City said. He was a red shirt. He was like the security
Yeah.
guy.
Was in
He's
trouble.
going down.
Oh yeah, as soon as he came out, I mean, he pretty much redshirted himself as soon as he opened his mouth. I'm like, yep, he's going down.
He's a new guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he's
tell
a
the
new guy.
main character of Star Wars what to do.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like Ken was saying earlier, this looked like a movie. I mean, it looks like it was right up there on IMAX big screen and everything. You could have easily just put this in the theaters and it would have did just as great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you intersperse some, action scenes, big high close, high post bombs and explosions and stuff every now and then. But this episode was straight movie style. You know, they spent some money, and Dave Filoni took real great care to make it look good and didn't. And I'm surprised we spent so much time with Luke, and I think that he really wanted to show off the fact of Luke and this and the way he looked at this point, as far as like the digital technology and stuff. I was just loving it. I was, and none of it took me out of the story and everything. Even though I was just, looking for like, glitches and stuff, and seeing where, some stuff that wasn't like, laxing and everything. It all still gave you the emotion and like the story.
So here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Luke in Boba Fett's palace.
Well, think about it.
Standing over the Rancor pit.
Well, he has to get him there, right? Because
has to.
Grogu's going to be in the battle, regardless of what we think.
Yep.
He's going to be in the battle. He can't fly his ship, so Luke is going to have to look face to face again
at Boba
Fett, the guy who essentially
at the throne, and that's the muscle. What more muscle do you need?
I don't think Luke will fight in it, but I think he'll show up.
One Jedi's OP for those pikes. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
you can't bring
fair.
a Jedi Master. Come on, man.
That's not fair.
Especially him at this power level, because if you read, there's a canon novel out called The Legends of Luke Skywalker, and the DP to let you know where his power level is right now, if it's like a Dragon Ball Z level. In the novel, he pulls a full Star Destroyer out of the sky, and it sinks in the ground.
Wow.
And he's done it multiple times. So yeah, this is like full power. I mean, think about it. He's the only Jedi who wears all black. They're all, I mean, even Rey, they all wear the brown. It's just traditional Jedi garb to wear brown. This guy walks in all black with the glove on.
So the temple that they were building, that was the same one we seen in Rise of Skywalker, right? I mean, not Rise of Skywalker, but that wasn't it.
No,
it's different. It's different.
It's a different planet. It's a different planet, I believe.
Okay. All right.
Just think about it. If it's the same planet, then where's Ben and where's Leia and where's Han?
Well, he should be born somewhat soon, right?
What planet is it?
I tried to look it up on the internet. So if anybody watching or listening, anybody knows, I try to on the internet finding. They didn't list the planet as of yet. I'm sure somebody will have the answer, but I couldn't find what planet they were on.
I felt like it was so going to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'm thinking this is because they didn't go out of their way to make it alien. Okay, an alien planet,
right?
Except for the frogs with one eye, which Darwinism might have some way to explain that. But I'm thinking like early prehistoric Earth, because bamboo plants, the trees were trees. I mean, everything looked very. I mean, you could have dropped them in the middle of a national forest somewhere. I mean, it looked. It to me, it just looked like home, which to me is Earth.
Right.
So I don't know that. I mean, like I said, I watched it 3 times. I watched those scenes, and I was like, oh, this just looks like Frick Park to me.
You know what's funny about the whole Ahsoka stuff and even the Luke stuff, that I was hoping I didn't get emotional and teary-eyed, kind of like Ken was saying. I was thinking that, because we've seen Hayden around, if they did this Anakin Force Ghost, I would have lost it. I might have cried. I'm being honest. I thought that when she walked away, you would
can
see
cry
a Force.
here. It's okay.
I just thought that you would see like a Force Ghost Anakin walking next to her, will be like, you've taught him well, or just a couple.
That would have been too much fan service. That would have been them blatantly advertising the Ahsoka Anakin series that's coming out. That would have just been straight. Okay, we're using this show strictly to advertise and tease other stuff. I don't know if I would have been down with that. That would have been nice to see, but
I don't know. We think about it. We haven't seen the Force Ghost of Anakin since the battle, and the only one that can see him really right now is Luke. I mean, I don't know if Ahsoka has the training. I mean, Luke somewhat has it, but yeah, I don't know if Ahsoka has the training, because Qui-Gon, remember, was the first Jedi to even be able to see from the afterlife and taught Yoda even how to see it. So. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
So the flashback was that any recognizable Jedi that we seen?
They were younglings. If they were quoted as like
younglings,
just, yeah.
Interesting. And the troopers. What was the blue for? The blue one.
That was the elite squad of they weren't standard stormtroopers or clone troopers. Yeah, yeah.
It's Vader's fist.
Yeah, wow. That's Vader's crew. That's the muscle right there.
Yeah,
that's the opening act.
Brutal too. The way they just kept blasting the Jedi body when it was down. I mean, they just wanted to make sure.
They looked. I mean, I know I said this already, but they really look really menacing. Clone troopers are usually not. They look like stormtroopers, which are not formidable compared to the characters that we are familiar with. And the clone troopers should be. We believe they should. They're basically all Captain Americans for the most part, right? They're like as badass as you can get. So they should be really terrifying. And I think this is maybe the first effective portrayal of that in live action.
They don't. For one thing, these troopers don't miss. You can see that for sure. They're not stormtroopers, man.
They're spot on. Their blaster bolts went where they were supposed to go.
They went where they were supposed to go. Yeah.
The great dialogue and like the funny little quips. Like I love the Din Djarin. He's like, "Is this a bench?"
He's just all.
How long do I have to wait? Yeah, he's. That was great Star Wars writing to me. I mean, that was like perfect. Like they just. Filoni, I guess he directed. He was like, "Hey, you know what? Let's have these droids build it. Let's have these autonomous Senate beings build this poor guy a bench because he's going to wait." And they put leaves on it so he could like sleep. I mean, it was.
Oh man.
I mean, it was great, and yet R2 there, and R2 was like R2 shut himself off because he's like, it's gonna be a while, it's gonna be a minute, so you're gonna have to just down. Yeah, you're gonna have to just like chill out and wait. I mean, that was a perfect scene.
That was a great way for Ahsoka to question Djarin about if he should go see his baby and everything, and the conflict of the way of the Jedi and Djarin just learning how his religion, his stuff with the armor from like last week and everything, him getting more out, more set aside from like, the Mandalorian central, like, religion and everything. And him wanting to connect more with somebody outside of, himself and everything. Pretty soon, I mean, he's going to be at the point where has his mask off all the time. I would just imagine. He carries a lot of Jedi type, ways, or he's beginning to. So I don't think he's going to become a Jedi or anything like that. But it'd be interesting to see where his whole arc goes. In the future, in as far as like his series and stuff.
You don't think he would just? I mean, he's gonna partner with Boba Fett, get in that gang, and I think he's going to find his place. I think he's done with traveling the galaxy by himself.
Yeah. If anything, though, I mean, it's a time jump. I mean, with Bo-Katan having a series, I don't know where he'll go. If he'll be the rightful ruler of Mandalore, if we'll see it. It's a weird thing, like you're saying, because he's essentially an outcast of whatever you want to call the Forger, her creed, if it's the last of Death Watch or whatever they consider herself to being. Well, if that guy was a Vizsla, I'm guessing that is the end of Death Watch. So if that's the final part of Death Watch, will he become part of another Mandalorian creed? As we discussed before, or does he just become just a bounty hunter that teams up with Boba or Bo-Katan or whatever the case may be, and it's the stories of Din and Grogu, whatever it becomes, because it definitely left a weird part, kind of like a weird taste in my mouth, when we got to that back half and we're discussing, Boba. We get to this part where we're seeing Din and his character development even more, and now we're back at this point to where, as the episode ended, we're getting our chess pieces together. We obviously know the Pikes have Cad. You're saying they're pacifistic people, and they're not really. They're more terrorists. So that means if they just have Cad Bane, just think of the other villains and characters they can pull now with money. My mind's just like, I can't imagine who else is going to show up, because we still got pieces, on the heroes side that we haven't seen. So I think we'll have a couple more heroes show up for this final battle that we probably won't see this week or next week, and I think we'll have a couple more big villains show up before the episode to end. But
so what? My curious. So what do you think? Okay, so you mentioned that we probably won't see the big battle happen in this. So is it? Do you think we're going to get like a Boba Fett season 2?
I imagine so.
That we're going to get like I mean, I'm sure Mando's season is going to come out before then, right?
Yeah, I think I think it's going to blend in. I think Mandalorian 3 is going to continue this story because already he's in it.
Yeah,
Din Djarin is in this world now, so they can't just start season 3 with like some. You're going to have to be in this timeline.
Or we still tying ourselves to that traditional way of storytelling. They could just drop a one shot, hour and a half, movie during the summertime and say, bam, this is the war or whatever. Night of the something or whatever, that would just be some dope stuff.
I mean,
Night of 1,000 tears.
Yeah. They can. I mean, you're right. They can end it next week. They can. I mean, I don't know if you can squeeze it in the 50 minutes, but they definitely can end the war. Like I said, they discussed it multiple times. The season 3 will be a time jump, but in the time jump, as you said, and we've seen in this, they can go back and finish this off. So, I don't. Based on the time and what's going on and how we're assuming we're assimilating teams, I don't see how you get the teams together, the battle together, and this war done in one episode.
And Grogu trying to decide,
exactly
if he's going to take the armor or the lightsaber. And think about the territory that has to be, contained.
Yeah,
you've got the free. What do they call it? What they change? Mos Plega.
The Freetown.
Freetown. Yeah, Freetown, Mos Espa, and Mos Eisley. These huge metropolitan cities that now are involved in this battle for spice that I don't think anybody really cares about except for the Pikes.
Right.
Except for the Pikes.
Right?
Make money off
They still gotta have Han show up somehow.
Heroin, right? We all know it's heroin. It's heroin, guys.
It's heroin. And I thought the character walking in from the desert, at first I thought, man, is that Hondo? Is that because it had that it had a hat, and it was kind of, it was hard to tell.
That sombrero thing, man. That was
I
it.
know. Once it got a little closer,
That's Cad Bane! I was like jumping up and down.
but Hondo would be great because he's already in the Galaxy's Edge. He's a character in the Smuggler's Run game, so he's already in the story in this current timeline. I think so. They could drop him in at any time, but I like Cad Bane.
Why shouldn't he show up as an alternative to the Pike Syndicate, right?
No, he should. He really should.
I mean, he would want to get hooked in with this Boba Fett Syndicate, I would think.
Yeah.
Yep. Boba's going to pay him properly for his efforts. I don't think he's going to get the same game, especially since Cad Bane's in it. And I think Cad Bane, like I said, I think he's getting like 47, 48, 49% of the whole take. Because there's no way he's doing anything if he's not getting paid.
No, not at all. Not at all. So what we seeing with Luke? How are y'all feeling about any type of Luke series?
I told you that was coming, man. That's it.
I mean, it's not like official or anything like that. But I mean, are you guys for what you've seen today and everything? Are you guys ready for that, or you think it should be a thing?
They can do whatever they want.
It has to. I mean, if you think of the stories as we're going of all these characters, we're not going to Obi-Wan. The big teller will, I think, like you're saying, DP, with Luke, is if they do a Vader series, then Luke comes. I think Vader should come before Luke personally, but I don't know, because I'm hearing Erklings, outside of the show with more issues with getting clearance for Hayden Christensen and this and that. I know he's playing part of the Obi-Wan series, but I don't know what's going on. There's all kind of stuff going on behind the scenes. It's not Filoni related.
Even if half of these threads pay off, that's great. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so many balls in the air that even if a couple get dropped because of logistical reasons, like happened during the sequel trilogy, they had a logistical thing that just ruined their whole plan. So now they've learned from that. So now if something goes wrong, like, I don't know, the star of your show starts tweeting crazy stuff, you can just go snip, and everything's fine, right? I don't miss that character. I don't miss that piece of the story. I think we've seen enough of the Marshals, right?
We all know that if that didn't happen, she was in this.
Yeah, right?
Sure.
That's
100% she was in this. She was written in this before that happened.
All you had to do was not do that, right? That's it. That's
hopefully
all.
Hopefully tomorrow, Morrison, you've learned this, and we won't see if season 2 comes out. Just stay off of Twitter, please. Stop the internet. Please don't.
I think Tamora Morrison has done a really, really, really good job in this series.
Yeah.
So to call back the gravitas, and I like how he's portraying Boba as being like anonymous without his helmet, which you would think having the face of the entire clone army, right? And the entire army is you.
Yeah.
There's billions of yous, right? Everywhere. So Boba Fett without his mask, to me, is still wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That's a good point. And did you see where the mask was during that scene?
Where the helmet was?
Yeah. Where was the helmet? Where was the helmet?
It was sitting on the throne, right?
Yep, it was on the throne. So that was still, I think that was a very strong element of set design because, okay, he didn't have his mask on, but he was still on the throne. So he was still in charge, and he didn't say anything. He used his eyes, he used body language, but he was still, you knew who was in control. So again, still a Boba Fett episode because Boba Fett was still in charge of the entire, what was really going on, which is the construction of this battle, this defense, this offense. Let's call it an offense because we want Boba to win. And his helmet was on the throne. So it still was a very strong, even though it was 54.3 seconds of screen time for Boba Fett in a Star Wars story, non-Boba Fett episode.
But think about
out of the park.
Telling yourself that like 5 years ago. It's like, so what did you do? Well, last night, you're going to think this is crazy. I watched an episode of the Boba Fett television show, and you'd be thinking to yourself, "That, oh my God, no, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard."
Right.
It's like, oh, they followed around this other dude the whole time. Right? And
Who was that?
Yeah. Thank God they followed the other dude around the whole time, right? I mean,
and then they had a baby Yoda. Oh, what?
A baby what? A baby Yoda?
what?
Yeah.
Who? Cad? What?
A baby Yoda? What
Yeah.
kind of crap?
They just
Yeah,
decided,
You know, even crazier that so Ahsoka's the first Jedi with 2 lightsabers since Darth Revan, which is like a super cool callback. But yeah, most Jedi don't carry 2 blades, so that's like super rare that you have a Jedi that has 2 lightsabers in any form. It's because what she practices essentially is known as the forbidden arts, and it's a forbidden lightsaber style. But yeah, the 2 lightsabers is pretty dope.
Forbidden lightsaber style.
Yeah. Oh, if you get deep into it, yeah, it's pretty. There are forms of lightsaber combat and the way they fight and they swing the sword that are um, less traditional Jedi and more aggressive. Like, and it's a long story, but so like the way Mace Windu was a master swordsman, he essentially tapped into some powers of the dark side in order to be able to do some of the maneuvers he can do, which is why you don't want to do them. So
They could do a TV show called like Jedi, and have like
no,
Luke
we
is
need
like the
Sith.
headmaster and stuff.
We need
Know,
Sith before
Jedi.
we need Jedi. We need
Huh?
Sith before we need Jedi.
I mean, I'm saying, he's a headmaster of like the Jedi Academy and everything, teaching all the younglings and stuff. We're learning like the different, histories and like, the lore as far as that. But if you're talking about trying to do like his CGI, but not really have him, totally involved with everything, that will be something.
Yeah.
I kind of like the space that they're working in now. It's like it's got a lot of the foundation that we're already used to. It's not really pulling a lot of stops out. I mean, it is pulling all the stops out, but I mean, it's very, to me, very real. I mean, I can dig this universe. This is a good space that they should be working in. If they get into more of the kind of the traditional Jedi background, I don't know where it's going to go. To me, that seems a little murky.
It's murky, but I mean, the elements are there, right? So look, let's just take this back to the prequels, right? So we know that the Jedi Temple on Coruscant was destroyed. We also know in the final sequel trilogy, the Book of the Wills and all the books from Coruscant somehow made their way to Luke. So who gave them to him?
Yeah.
So did he go back to Coruscant at some point and get them? Somebody either gave them to him or he went to get them.
Or he went back. So that would be cool.
So that's a story in itself. Or did Mace Windu give him to him when he gave him to Grogu? Who knows? Who knows? I'm telling you, man, Sam Jackson, he can stop doing these Capital One.
But he can't do all of them. He can
stop doing these Capital One commercials and just come back for one episode for me.
And he still looks like Mace. I mean, of all these characters, like the actor, like he looks great. He could do Fury, and he could do Windu.
Capital One's
those
not
guys
paying
meeting
you.
each other.
Capital One's not paying you what we'll pay you, man. I mean, where's the money at it?
Yeah.
Capital One's not
paying
paying
more than Capital One for sure.
Come on, bro.
Subscribe to it twice. You want to make that happen? You got to get 2 Disney Pluses. You better get their email.
Speaking on Fury, real quick, I watched. I don't even know what it was. I turned it on, and some Avengers movie was on, but it
must
was
have been on TNT. It's like on an Everloop. It's like the only show they have left is the Avengers.
Yeah, Fury was trying to escape the police in the truck, right? And they kept counting down.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. What a great sequence! Oh my god, when it's like counting down the armor left, it's like 1%.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't give up. I mean, he never gives up, and that's important to Star Wars. You never give up. You never betray who you are. You never betray your training, your background, ever. So that's an important.
Well, Grogu's about to make that decision because you're either going to dedicate yourself to this or find yourself on the outs and never become what you're destined to be.
Yeah, but follow it. Don't regret it.
Yeah.
Right.
Make your decision. You make the decision, think about it, and whatever you decide, it's cool.
It's it's wild to just hit me too, and we talk about this all the time with like episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, they didn't exist. That didn't.
No, it did. But listen real quick. Like, how do you have this character like Luke Skywalker like this? But like we never seen full power Luke Skywalker. We seen full power Palpatine, I guess, at the end of Episode 9, right? So we seen him at his highest. We never seen full power Luke. Just like I just need to see. I need to see him battle somebody with
Yeah.
elite level. You know what I mean? Like, how do you have this character right now on screen that literally nobody can touch? Like nobody. Not even Palpatine right now.
We're going to see it now. We're going to see it.
Who? But who? I don't know.
He's going to lift the entire Pike Syndicate and Cad Bane up into the air and twist them in half.
Well, you know who's got a ship that he can pull out of the sky is Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different like opportunities to show Luke just deciding that he has to either intervene in the thing or like go to, like you said, Coruscant to grab those books and just make a big mess of stuff on the way out. There's so many different opportunities for them to tell these stories because there's a lot of space and they're not boxed into too much, but they do have to create a legend for Luke Skywalker because when he leaves, it matters. And obviously, there should be more to what his deeds are. I'm excited to see where they're going. The thing I want to see next is whatever this story is next, the next piece of this story. And I think that really is a credit to how they've put this together, that my Star Wars craving is for the rest of this. It's not for anything else. It's not for something they missed. It's not for, more Boba Fett than I've gotten. It's not even for more Grogu than I've gotten. It's just the next chapter. And that is a pretty high compliment, Frank.
That's the universal storytelling. So you're waiting for, it's not a thing. You're not a character or whatever. It's this. Whatever the next part of this story, because if you think about Star Wars you're still telling Star Wars. It's a whole story. Chapters interspersed here and there, and side stories and stuff that happen. It's still part of a whole. So what is the next chapter of this? So yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah, and just before we close out, guys, so we're going into the, I guess, Book of Boba Fett finale. I don't know what they've released as far as if this is the finale or if it's just the chapter. So we'll just call it.
We're very
chapter
lazy.
7. Yeah, we'll just call it We'll just call it chapter 7. We don't know if it's a finale or not.
We'll Google whether or not it's the finale after we watch it, and we'll know before we go on the air next week.
Just a spoiler alert: we won't text or message certain things.
We won't ever talk to each other again.
Yeah, notifications are going to be muted this Tuesday night.
For all friends, please mute all notifications Tuesday and the Wednesday afternoon, please.
Oh my!
Yeah,
please.
Especially before 9 a.m. in the morning when
Dope.
Yeah. That's usually my second run through, but run 9. So when I'm texting Ken or somebody,
my goodness.
I was up at 3 for sure. I was up at 3 tonight.
Yeah, I just felt, hey, there's a Star Wars chat group going on.
Yeah, when he said that, I was hoping he was going to pull it back, but I was like, yeah, you can't.
It's all good. It wasn't a big deal because he said the preview explained that I shouldn't be mad because the last planet last week was I'm going to see Luke and Grogu now.
Pretty much.
Like,
that's my defense, and that's why I won't be put to death tonight because
I was gonna say that you should have to watch the entire season 4 of Golden Girls between now and next week, but I will let you off the hook.
Yeah.
No punishment necessary.
Yeah.
I'll watch it right now. I have it on DVD.
Well, thank you for being a friend anyway.
But yeah, before we get going, guys, as your finale, so let's just do this as a poll question as well on the website. So the episode 7 is ending, right? We're about to get our fade to black and whatever. What do you want to see? Everybody, real quick, just go through something you'd like to see as the season ends. We'll start with you, Ken.
I got to see the battle. I have to see Boba Fett and his team and the Mod Squad and Power Rangers, and I got to see all of this happen effectively and stamp out the Pike Syndicate. I want to see the whole thing just done, gone. And because that's going to give Boba Fett cred, because now the entire planet of Tatooine is going to buy into Boba Fett's leadership. And basically, they're going to change the planet name from Tatooine to Bobanine. I mean, they're going to just call it, he's just going to be in control of the whole thing. That's what I want to see.
What about you, Hitch?
I want to see Boba Fett holding the Darksaber.
Oh, I like
How would you
that
get
one.
that?
We'll
That's
find
an
out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cad
That's a really
Bane
good
takes
one.
it off at Din, and then we'll see what happens after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a good one. What about you, DP?
I think I'm opposite of Ken. I don't think I want to see the battle yet. I mean, because I don't think that you have enough time to do it right. So if they're going to do it, they need to they either need to knock it out in an hour, hour and a half, or whatever, or just finish setting everything up, all the threads that you planted this season, Grogu and everything, stuff from Mando and all that stuff in this next episode, and then just tease that as for the next thing coming.
Right.
If you're going to do this 7th episode, do it correctly. Don't try to rush everything in there just to call it a season.
Yeah. And as my final point, I agree with you, DP. But my one moment to kind of do the mic drop, as Hitch said, is I'd like to see them assemble their team, and as it fades to black before they get ready to go to war, you just hear the words, "I heard you needed help, little brother." And you know who that is at that point. Omega shows up at
There you
literally
go.
at the fade to bag. At the fade to black, all you hear is, "I heard that you needed some more help, little brother." And it's just, there's the theme again, bro. That's it. That will be it. I
And
don't
then
know if it'll happen.
a bunch of those like reverse deep fakes where it's all a bunch of Tamara Morrison's old, right? Showing up.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, who
Cool.
knows? But,
Anything could happen, and look, for a saga where this is a middle part, that is again a very good
And this is
accomplishment.
only the middle part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We know what happens. We know Luke. I mean, we know Luke's gonna be fine for a while. You know what I mean? Like we know all that stuff. So like, for them to be able to interject suspense into this story and use the main characters takes a lot of skill, and that's something that's hard to do.
Yeah. And this will be our last time at this time frame before we go back to basically 3.5 when we go to Obi-Wan. So this is like the last part of this story we'll see for the rest of the year. So it's a great way, and I can't wait to close this chapter 7 out with you guys next week. So once again, we always appreciate everybody that tunes in, listens, whether it's live and or later. Please, if you do have that notification bell, and smash the likes up for us. We'd really appreciate it. But also, once again, follow us at nerdsandnerdcyclopedia.com, and even go on our page. There's some other things we talk about. We do have Marvel chats. We do some other things as far as all things nerds. So please check out other shows, our reviews of Rebels, things like that. But once again, thanks everyone for coming on. Until next week, guys, this is the way.
This is the
This
way.
is the way.